Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Double Masters 2022 Draft League. I've not been able to record like anything for days because I've been sorting out a friend's wedding, helping them get everything set up. So, we're back to it. Let's see. I mean, I drafted Jund, and Jund seemed really good. Bloodbraid Elf seems like a really broken card. Let's see, there's an Inquisition, like a Ground Assault. This is a really good Jund opener, so I'm pretty tempted to do this. We got a good rare. It's just like good value, and an incredible uncommon. So I hate to do this again, but hey, you know what? Maybe these specific colors get cut, and we can draft like a 5-color deck or something. I'm trying to drink some Gatorade to recover from working out this morning. I couldn't push very hard today. I was like tired when I got there, but you know, gotta do what you can do when you can do it. I've kind of fallen behind on my responsibilities a little bit because between the house, move, and friend's wedding, it's like I am constantly busy, and I'm very eager to have everything settle down and resemble something that looks like normality. Okay, so we have a Go for the Throat, which I imagine is very good removal in this format. There is also Arachnus Spinner, Arachnus Web. There's Experiment 1, which would be very good in a more aggressive build. I feel like I was trying to be too aggressive with my last deck. And of course there's like a Cryptic Spires, which we are going to have to take fixing pretty highly. But I am going to take the Doomblade equivalent here. There's not that many artifact creatures, at least that I've run into, the few drafts of this that I've done. And I've done a few when I wasn't recording, wasn't feeling up to like projecting my voice and trying to speak clearly, and just tried to relax and play some Magic. But it's an interesting format. It's really fun to draft. Alright, so there's a Thrumming Stone, an Experiment 1, Gnarlback Rhino, Liliana's Elite. I think we're going to take the Cryptic Spires here. So like Sidrax's Spectre is Grixis, it's not Jund, but like this is a card you could splash if you have the fixing to support it. Gnarlback Rhino is more for the Naya deck. Yeah, I'm gonna take the fixing. We're gonna need it. Okay, so there's Burning Tree Emissary, Elvish Rejuvenator, Fireblade Artist, Strands of Undeath, and a Cryptic Spires. So Elvish Rejuvenator is both ramp and somewhat fixing. Fireblade Artist is more for the Mardu deck. It's also really strong, just having a 2-mana 2/2 with haste. Burning Tree Emissary is also very good. You can do like blitzy stuff with it if you're trying to be really aggressive. Strands of Undeath is also a very... it's quite good, just being a Mind Rot that can also protect your own dudes. I think... Oh man. I'm going to go with the Fireblade Artist. I think maybe the Rejuvenator is what I was supposed to take, but if this was an on-color bounce land, I would take that over anything in this pack, I think. Emissary is also very good, but I tend to overvalue this card, and I've not ever drawn it in multiples in the decks that I've drafted it in. I had a deck that had 4 of them, and I never drew 2 in an opener. So I'm going to take the Cryptic Spires, because I would like to have good mana for this deck. I think it's very important. There's also one other benefit to Cryptic Spires that I haven't really mentioned or talked about. Like, you can just make it on color, right? Like, these are just like Jund-colored Guild Gates, right? But if I get cut in Pack 2 or Pack 3, I can actually change what these cards tap for. So, like, if black becomes unavailable and I have to go straight Gruul, well, then these are straight Gruul Guild Gates. And I get to make that decision after drafting and before building the deck. So that's something that you should definitely keep in mind when you're picking these cards. In fact, I'm going to take another one because I'm not a huge fan of Skeleton Archer. Bloodflow Connoisseur is more for the Mardu deck. Goblin Banneret is good, but I want very good mana. Sprouting Thrynax, I definitely will take. This would be a pretty great card to cascade into off a Bloodbraid Elf. There's no fixing in this pack. Impervious Great Worm, I'm probably not going to go wide enough to be able to enjoy. Thrynax has some pretty good synergies with Fireblade Artist, so... Let's see. Una's Prowler is an aggressive flyer that can deal a lot of damage or force your opponent to discard. Otherwise, there's Eyeblight's Ending, which is very strong removal. I already have a Go for the Throat, I don't think this is a deck that'll be playing Unearth, though there's some circumstances where that might be good. I think I'm going to take the Prowler just because it's aggressive, and I think now black is my most picked color. Okay, Ground Assault or Inquisition of Kozilek. I really like hand hate effects, and I think Inquisition is good. I'm not so sure about it in this format. Ground Assault is going to be very good in this deck, though. This is effectively Gruul's closest thing to, like, unconditional removal. So we're going to take that. Let's see. There is some combinations we could take with Supernatural Stamina. We do have Fireblade Artist, so, like, we can set up for a sacrifice play and, like, you know, return a Sprouting Thrynax or something. And I think that's more valuable than Spark Mage's Gambit, so I'm going to take it. This is not a grapple deck. This is a Stormfleet Pyromancer deck, possibly. Unfortunately, I don't think we can take Thrumming Stone. I think it would be fun to draft a deck around this, but I haven't thought about how to make it work yet. I could splash for Crackling Doom, which is a very strong card, but I'm going to take the Strands. I guess I'll take a Tuskguard Captain. I'll take a... There's some benefit to having a sack outlet in this deck. Skeleton Archer is a little less good. The only problem with Bloodflow Connoisseur is it's a terrible cascade off of Bloodbraid Elf 99% of the time. So, alright. Wow. Well, I mean, we can just take Atarka's Command for sure. I don't know that this is a Splinter Fright deck, though. The Sultai is the Self-Mill deck. I do like Atarka's Command. We could take Unburial Rites, because we do have some like high-value creatures we could reanimate. Otherwise, I could take like an Annoyed Altasaur, but I don't have like ramp to get there. I think I'm going to take Atarka's Command and Disfigure. Because Disfigure is really good removal in this format. Abzan Ascendancy seems strong, but I think this is a Riftbolt pick. Riftbolt has been super valuable in basically every single deck I've drafted, because it's just, if you're playing an aggressive deck, it can go to face, right? So it's super good. But it kills a lot of creatures, and it has this weird effect of, like, if your opponent has nothing on board, or, like, a minimum value creature on board, like a 1/1 that you don't care about, you can just suspend this card, and they'll delay playing anything into it, because they would rather it go to face than them playing a creature. So in a weird way, it's like a half fog in some situations, because it, like, delays, or like a... what is that effect? Like a Moonhold effect or something like that, where they don't play creatures into it, which I think is interesting. Any card that that's like that can change your opponent's play pattern has some extra value attached that's generally hidden. I'm going to take a Rampant Growth here. Casting a Bloodbraid Elf or a Nekuru Queen earlier is great, but it's also fixing. I guess we're kind of hoping to wheel... I don't know, Pyromancer, Cryptic Spires, or a Liliana's Elite or something like that, but we will take the Rampant Growth. Let's see, there's a Devoted Druid. I like Augur Spree. This card has overperformed for me as removal. I think it's quite good. Living Lightning would not be a bad wheel. Yeah, we'll take Augur Spree. Okay, Grim Flayer. There's a card we'd like to play. This card manipulates your top deck. It's a very efficient creature. It gives us a little bit of, like, Grave Power effect. I've seen like 5 Burning Tree Emissaries the one time that I'm like, oh, I don't want to draft this card. You know, I don't get it in enough multiples. Could you imagine if we'd taken like, I don't know, 6 Burning Tree Emissaries and a Thrumming Stone? Oh, this might have been the opportunity to do it, but you just never know. I'll take Grimflayer. Grimflayer is very good. So let's see. Out of these cards, I think I like Pirate's Pillage the most. This has a little bit of fixing and ramp tacked onto it, but it also gives us some sustaining power into the late game, because we can pitch like a land we don't need. Because we're really only trying to get up to 5 lands or so. So, you know, we get into the late game, we can get rid of stuff we don't need, and then start to like double spell after that. So we'll take the Pirate's Pillage. Okay, Burning Tree Emissary, Glowspore Shaman, Supernatural Staminas. Burning Tree Emissary can immediately allow us to cast Rampant Growth, Atarka's Command, or Ground Assault. Glowspore Shaman is a 2-mana 3/1 that can guarantee us a land drop, or increase our odds of a land drop. And we're a lot heavier black than red. I actually am going to take the Glowspore Shaman here over the Burning Tree Emissary. I think that's better for us. Cryptic Spires, Webweaver Changeling, or Blazing Hellhound. I think I'm just going to take the Cryptic Spires here. The Hellhound is nice, but it's not necessary. The Webweaver Changeling is also nice, but it seems like we're lighter green. Man, nobody wants Burning Tree Emissary. So we could take Carrier Thrall, Burning Tree Emissary, Scion of Darkness, or Titan Strength. I don't know how I feel about an 8-mana 6/6. You know what? We'll take Scion of Darkness. If nobody else wants Burning Tree Emissary, I guess we don't either. We'll take a Dragmangler. This has some good value coming out of the grave. It's an aggressive creature. It's a 3-mana 3/3 haste, so it's great off of a Bloodbraid Elf. It's great if you cast it and you're just trying to be aggressive. It's got value out of the grave, so like even if it dies, it's not that bad. I don't know about double Pirate's Pillage. I'm not a huge fan of Dreamshaper Shaman. I guess I would play another Stormfleet Pyromancer. Liliana's Elite might be better than Scion of Darkness for us, because we are trying to be mid-rangey. We're not really trying to be a ramp or reanimator deck. Okay. I'll take Might of Old Karoza as a potential combat trick. Nobody likes Zur the Enchanter, and we get a Supernatural Stamina pass to us. So at least it looks like black is somewhat open. Mana Vault. Well, I mean, I'll play a Mana Vault because we do have some 4 and 5 mana cards, and I guess just casting them really early is probably good. Muldrotha the Gravetide is also really strong. It's incredible value. So, like, we have enough playables that, like, maybe if I just, if I take these 2 cards, we just start taking any fixing we see and play 4 colors, splashing at the top end here. How often do you get to play a deck with Mana Vault outside of, Vintage Cube, huh? Now, let's do it. Is there any card that I would take over Muldrotha? Not really, so we'll take Muldrotha. Okay. There's another Ground Assault. I'm going to take a Ground Assault over a Cryptic Spires. I already have a playset of Cryptic Spires. Another Go for the Throat. There's a Vampire Sovereign, too. That's a really, really good Jund card. We can't have all tap lands. We have some pretty decent threats already. I'm going to take the other Go for the Throat. Like, we have enough removal now. Between Disfigure, double Go for the Throat, double Ground Assault, Rift Bolt, and Augur Spree, we can kill practically anything all the time. Eye Blight's Ending is super good, but I don't need it. Same with Lava Coil is incredible. I'm just going to take the fixing now, the Cryptic Spires, because I'm still seeing them. And if I want to splash this 4th color for like some incredible top end value, I'm going to need it. See, this is one of the things I was talking about with Cryptic Spires. Like, these are Jund colored, tap lands, Guild Gates, until I pick a blue card, and then one of them taps for blue. And I get to make that decision after I've drafted, but before I build my deck. Disfigure is really strong, but I have so much removal that I think I'm just going to take this Cryptic Spires. Like, having good mana is just, it's going to be good. Now, so one of the other things that we do have to be aware of here when we're building this deck is, you know, having good mana is great. Having all tapped mana kind of sucks. But if you have, like, the multicolored and higher power splash colors to support it, higher power splash colored stuff, Shattergang Brothers is a 4-mana 3/3 that can answer a lot of permanents. We have some synergies for it. I mean, we might as well if we're going to have great mana. There's no fixing in this pack. I guess we could take Coiling Oracle, but I don't really want to devote that much to blue. We have no ramp, so Annoyed Altasaur is not that great. I'll take Fiery Fall because this is actually fixing or removal depending on what we need and how late we can go. So there is value in this for this deck. There's another Ground Assault. Hissing Iguanar, Living Lightning, or a Webweaver Changeling. I mean, I might want the Webweaver Changeling, just because, like, if we can replay this off Muldrotha, we just gain a bunch of life. Oh, man. The Ground Assault is so good. I have enough removal. I'm taking the Webweaver Changeling. As much as I would love to take another Ground Assault, because it's incredible. We'll take a Pirate's Pillage. I mean, if I just take another Changeling, then, like, we can have the top end to just gain a bunch of life and sustain. That seems pretty good. Arachnus Spinner is a huge body with reach, But I mean, Webweaver Changeling is too, and Webweaver Changeling gains us life. I mean, we could take Forbidden Alchemy. It's not an unreasonable splash, but we're not really using the Grave that much other than Muldrotha. I don't need the Severed Strands. I don't. I have so much removal. I've got double Go for the Throat, Disfigure, double Ground Assault, Rift Bolt, Augur Spree. And then I have like Stormfleet Pyromancers for small stuff and Shattergang Brothers for large stuff. So I should have taken the other Webweaver Changeling, I think, but I'm taking the Severed Strands. Put a card I'm not going to play in the sideboard. Unearth. We have some stuff that would be worthy of unearthing. Like getting back a Thrynax, you know, stuff like that. Okay. I do not want to apply this to all 6 cards. So we have a ton of black, and it looks like at first glance about the same amount of red and green. So if we do black, red, black, green, black, red, black, green, red, green, and black, blue. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we have a ton of Guild Gates. Let's start cutting stuff. We're not going to play Scion. I think it's a little bit too tall. I don't think we need more than one Supernatural Stamina effect if we're even playing it. It has some synergies with, like, Severed Strands, Fireblade Artist. I don't really want to play Bloodflow Connoisseur. Shattergang Brothers, though. I don't think we need to play 2 Stormfleet Pyromancers, and now I need to cut a whole bunch of non-creature stuff, because I can't cut too low here. I'm going to cut 1 Pirate's Pillage. If I have to cut my worst removal spell, it's probably Severed Strands. I think I'm going to cut the Supernatural Stamina. It's good. Like, if we play against an opponent that has a ton of removal, we can actually bring these in, depending on what's going on, and that may actually buy us some benefits. Okay, so Unearth can only hit these creatures, or Cycle. I mean, the cycling is nice for, like, Grimflayer, Delirium, but that's about it. Strands of Undeath is actually nice with Muldrotha, because, like, I really think this effect is, like, crazy powerful, especially in a deck like this. I'm going to cut the Unearth. I think Mana Vault is too good to not run, but our color requirements are so heavy. But could you imagine just, like, I don't know, turn 2 Webweaver Changeling seems really good. Like, turn 3 Muldrotha seems unlikely, but insane. Is it too greedy? It might be way, way too greedy. Atarka's Command can act as ramp, which is kind of nice, and is an incredible combat trick. We don't really have any huge mana sinks for Mana Vault. I don't know. I really want to play Mana Vault. I have to cut 4 cards. And they need to all be basically non-creature spells. Let me think about this for a minute. Okay, I think this is what this deck looks like. I cut Rift Bolt and a Ground Assault, because I feel like those are actually our worst removal spells. There's a ton of value in them, but this gives us like additional reconfigurations we could make based on what our opponent is doing. We have Supernatural Staminas if they have a ton of removal. If they're playing a bunch of cheap creatures, we can like bring these in to deal with them. I also did cut 1 more creature in the form of Liliana's Elite, because I just don't ever see this card being that big. We have a little tiny bit of self-mill, but I just don't know that that's going to matter. So I will see you guys in round 1. Kind of excited. Alrighty then. Round 1, here we go. This seems like a pretty good hand, so we're going to keep. Opponent leads on a Plains and passes. I'm going to lead on a Cryptic Spires. Pass the turn. This is the red-black tap land. Opponent plays a 10th District Legionnaire. So I can either Ground Assault or I can Disfigure. I think I am going to go ahead and just Disfigure this. Ground Assault we can save to kill bigger things later. And this has the potential to grow larger quickly. Opponent plays an Einok Bondkin. So I am just going to ground assault this. I'd like to keep the board neutral here for a minute while I set up to cast a huge flying trampler here. We draw a Webweaver Changeling, so we play a swamp. Let's go ahead and get rid of our other swamp for 2 new cards. Pass the turn. We did draw a land, which is good. Okay, opponent attacks us for 2. They might have a spell to trigger Heroic here. Okay, they did not. They play a Militia Bugler into an Abzan Falconer. Okay. We draw another Cryptic Spires, so play it. Play the Nekaru Queen. Nekaru? Not, I don't know how to say this. Cat Dragon. Okay, opponent attacks. I'm not going to block. It's a pretty decent chance of a combat trick here. Yep, there it is. Titan Strength. So we're taking a bunch of damage. We go to 8. And opponent plays an Abzan Falconer. We untap and draw an island. So go to combat. Let's make our opponent sack a creature. They sack Militia Bugler. Then let's go ahead and play a Webweaver Changeling and a tap land. So we're in pretty big trouble if they have a another heavy removal spell here. Heroic Reinforcements is also not good for our health. So I have to block the Wingsteed Rider and go to 1. That's not very good. Okay, we do draw Go for the Throat and play an island. So I can play Shattergang Brothers. Do I attack? I don't think I do. I think I just pass. Okay, opponent goes to combat. They attack. This does not have flying. So let's go ahead and block. Like this. And go for the Throat. Bolster 1. And they put 1/1 counters on stuff. So they actually just lost their whole board? I mean, I'm at 1, but this is good for us right now. Bloodbraid Elf is an excellent top deck. So Bloodbraid Elf, Cascade, cast Glowspore Shaman, mill ourselves. No, I don't want to put any of those back on top of my deck. So let's go to combat. Attack, 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 attack. We can Edict at instant speed with Shattergang Brothers, and we do get an additional token. Oh, look at the little cat dragon. It's so ferocious and awful. Cats are adorable, right? But, like, imagine a panther with bat wings. That's terrifying. 1 life matters. Alright. Okay, so opponent is playing an aggressive deck, which means I probably want Rift Bolt and my other Ground Assault. We should probably cut the absolute top end of the deck, just because we're not likely to make it there. Now, Fiery Fall is probably going to be fixing for us. I mean, do I cut Muldrotha? I don't know. Muldrotha is a pretty strong reason to play this deck the way it is. I don't know. Atarka's Command only really goes face. I think I'm actually going to cut Atarka's Command because it's not likely I aggro my opponent out. They're more likely to aggro us out. And I think I'm going to cut Strands of Undeath just to have the extra removal there. Because if we can keep the board clear into a big threat, we're golden. Okay. I mean, if we draw a black source, we have a fast Nekaru Queen, which is pretty sweet. I think we can risk this. So opponent plays a Plains. We draw a Rampant Growth. Okay, play Cryptic Spires, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mountain into a Bondkin. We draw a Forest. So play a Mountain. Rampant Growth, get a Swamp. Pass the turn. And we can't just play Shattergang Brothers. Like, we don't even need the Mana Vault now. Opponent attacks us for 2, that's fine. We draw another Cryptic Spires. Yeah, let's go for the Shattergang Brothers here. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an Abzan Falconer and attacks in the air. That's reasonable. We draw Go for the Throat. So, let's see. I don't have another black source, so I can't, like, play Fireblade Artist and leave up Go for the Throat. So we are going to play the land. I guess I could just play out the Cat Queen. Cat Dragon Queen. Then I have a Mana Vault, I guess, that I'm going to start taking damage from, but... And I'm just going to play this out next turn. Yeah, I think I'm just going to wait and leave up Go for the Throat. This opponent plays a Plains. They go to combat. They attack for 2 in the air. Okay, we'll take 2. Go to 14. They outlast the Falconer, and they outlast the Bondkin. So now the majority of their team is going to have First Strike and Flying. I think the First Strike actually matters more. So let's go ahead and go for the Throat. So we untap, draw Webweaver Changeling. We can't just go for a really aggressive swing with Dregmangler and Fireblade Artist. I think I'm alright with this. Hit him for a bunch. One goes down to 12. We can start sacrificing creatures to make them sacrifice. They play a Scale Blessing. We're going to take 8 here. We're not going to sack for damage. We draw a Rift Bolt. So that actually helps, sort of, I think. So we can play Mana Vault. Let me think about this. I can play Mana Vault to basically Dark Ritual. Then I would have 7 mana instead of 5. And with the 7 mana, I could cast Rift Bolt, kill a Banneret, Edict, force them to sack a creature, but then if they have 2 damage, we die. Alternatively, I can just cast Webweaver Changeling, but I won't gain life. I think I've got to go for the Mana Vault play here. Actually, are they dead? If we attack, they block here or here. They would take 5, we have 3. No, they wouldn't be dead. So we can Rift Bolt to kill that. Go to combat. Attack for 8. Take them to 4. Then make them sack a creature. But if they have even 1 point of damage, I think we're in trouble. And they do. Alright, on to game 3. We're just a little too slow there. Actually, I think I want Severed Strands over maybe Ground Assault. Actually, I think I want Severed Strands over Rift Bolt. Let's try like that. Okay, I would like to play first. We can't keep that hand. Why? This hand is almost amazing. Do I go to 5? I think most of my hands of 5 are really bad, but this hand doesn't do anything. I'm gonna go to 5. It's a lot better. We're gonna put back Fireblade Artist and Island. So this way we can at least cast a Ground Assault, but like, we need to top deck some really good stuff. Like a Swamp. Okay, that's not a Swamp. If this is a Wingsteed Rider, I'm gonna kill it. Oh, I really hope they don't have a protection spell for this. I have a suspicion that they top-decked that and don't have a protection spell for it, but if they do, we're just toast. Oh, why? Oh, we're done. Unless my opponent just has nothing else and we immediately top-deck a Swamp. But other than that, we're done. The odds that we top deck an untapped black source is basically nil. Oh, man. Oh, this is awful. Yup. And I don't have anything that can deal with that. Sad times. Alright, well, I will see you guys in round 2. Alrighty, welcome to game 2. Or round 2, I mean. This hand looks pretty good. We're gonna keep. Can't quite play this Web Weaver Changeling, but we'll be able to play a Fireblade Artist on turn 2. So, lead on Cryptic Spires, the Rakdos one. Opponent plays a Selesnya Cryptic Spires. We draw Go for the Throat. Go get him, Fireblade Artist. Okay, opponent goes down to 18. They play a Plains. And they play a Kasali Pride Mage. Well, we're not going to sack a creature here. We draw another Go for the Throat, so I think I'm fine making a tempo Go for the Throat play here. Hit him for 2. Opponent goes down to 16. Opponent plays an Orzhov Basilica, picking up a Plains. Alright. We're not going to sack anything to Fireblade Artist. We draw Shattergang Brothers. Play a Cryptic Spires, and hit our opponent for 2. We'll leave up our other Go for the Throat. Opponent goes down to 14. They play a Forest, which is not the Plains they picked up, so they're still holding a Plains. And they play a Gnarlback Rhino, which we will also remove. Okay, we untap. Still no sack there. We draw Muldrotha. Oops. Play Shattergang Brothers. Get in for 2. And next turn, we're probably either playing the Changeling or casting a Pirate's Pillage. If we cast Pirate's Pillage, we can actually cast Muldrotha the turn after. Okay, opponent settles beyond reality to kill Shattergang Brothers. We do not sack anything. We draw Dregmangler. Well, I think it's better to get in for the damage right now, because our opponent's life total is starting to get pretty low. A little bit of a shame that Shattergang Brothers got exiled. There's no chance of us recasting it from Muldrotha. Okay, opponent plays an Una's Prowler. And puts a 1/1 counter on it with Travel Preparations. And flashes back Travel Preparations. So they got a 5/3 flyer. We will not sacrifice a creature for Fireblade Artist. So let's go ahead and attack for 3. I could actually shrink Una's Prowler, but I think I'm just fine to trade here. I'd rather cast Pirate's Pillage and set up for a big creature next turn. Yeah, this is a fine trade. Pitch a Web Weaver Changeling. Ooh, and we draw lands. That's excellent. Pass the turn. And opponent scoops. We don't even have to show him Muldrotha. Awesome. I don't think we're going to make any adjustments. I think we're just going to run it back. Whoop. Apologies, I have to take this. Alrighty. Yeah, seems fine. We'll keep. Opponent plays a Plains. Play Cryptic Spires. Opponent plays a Forest and a Kasali Pride Mage. We draw a Tarka's Command. Play Una's Prowler. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. So we can't quite cast Augur Spree, unfortunately. But if we draw a red or a black source, we can, provided it's untapped. Opponent attacks us with Exalted. No blocks. And opponent puts a 1/1 counter and gives Kasali Pride Mage first strike. We draw Cryptic Spires, so we play it, go to combat. And attack for 3. Okay. Opponent goes down to 19. An opponent plays a Chronicler of Heroes. Well, I cannot kill Kasali Pride Mage in response, because Atarka's command can't hit creatures. So they do get to draw a card out of the deal. They hit us for 4 because they have Exalted. Okay. We draw Ground Assault. Well, I can't Ground Assault and Atarka's command. I have to do one or the other. I can cast Augur Spree, or I can cast Bloodbraid Elf. I think the first thing I do is attack, though. I don't think I'm casting Bloodbraid Elf this turn. There's some notion that maybe I should. Let's go ahead and kill the Kasali Pride Mage, get rid of the Exalted. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent has another Kasali Pride Mage. And they get in for 4. Sure, no blocks. We go to 8. They play their own Una's Prowler. Okay. I think we play Cat Dragon Queen. Pass the turn. Probably going to have to do some blocking here. I may actually discard Atarka's command or Webweaver Changeling, depending on what Una's Prowler does here. If my opponent attacks with just one creature, I will be blocking with Una's Prowler.
It's a little bit.
Okay. His opponent goes to combat and attacks us for 4. So we're just going to chump with Una's Prowler here. And then they play a Tuskguard Captain. Okay. We untap. We draw Go for the Throat. Now that's interesting, because now I have a double removal spell. I was just going to, like, slam Bloodbraid here, but let's attack with this first and see what happens. Okay, opponent does not block. They take 5. They have to sack a creature. They sack Una's Prowler. And we pass. Oh, I actually only have 1 removal spell, because I don't have double black. I guess that's less than ideal. So I can stay alive by killing the Chronicler of Heroes. Yep, that was a mistake. Kano can't math very well, that's for sure. Alright, so we take some damage. We draw Strands of Undeath, which does not help us. I think I have to Bloodbraid into something that matters, like a creature or removal spell. Okay, that's another creature that can block. They don't currently have any tramplers, but they could get one with the Tuskguard Captain. So attack our opponent for 5, force them to sack a creature. If we just have to, like, down trade on both of our creatures, we can play Webweaver Changeling to gain some life. Opponent sacked Tuskguard Captain, so we don't have to worry about a spell that puts a 1/1 counter on stuff to make a trampler, like a battlefield promotion. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, opponent attacks us for 2. Block and block. Okay, we stay at 1. Opponent plays a tap land and passes. We untap and draw Shattergang Brothers. We go ahead and attack for 5. Opponent goes down to 1. Make him sack a creature. Then just Atarka's command for lethal. Opponent says, wow, lucky. Okay. On to round 3. See you guys there. Alright, on the draw, I think we can keep this. We have access to Go for the Throat, and hopefully Grim Flayer can start manipulating our top decks. We also have a decent curve if we go Grim Flayer into Dreadmangler. What is my hair doing? Alright. We'll play the on-color Cryptic Spires first. Opponent plays a Swamp. Draw Shattergang Brothers. So, play Grim Flayer. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains into a Dreadmangler, but does not attack. We draw a Mountain. So, play Cryptic Spires. Go for the Throat. This is to ensure we can get a hit here and manipulate our top deck. We are trying to hit Delirium, and we don't really need any of these. So we can pass. Opponent plays a land and scoops. Okay. Too strong, I guess. Not really. Opponent scoops the match? Oh, come on. You had hope. Oh my goodness. Well, alright. We went 2-1. I did not expect that end of the league, but I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream on Sundays usually, but it's been a little bit busy. I have had to move across the country, buy a house, and deal with a friend's wedding. So it's been a little hectic. Hopefully once that's all settled down, we'll get back to a regular schedule. Anyway, like I said, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!